We are going live.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So hello everybody. I am here with Raimonda Richardson from Force for Events. Raimonda has spent the last couple of months basically building her expertise in delivering or doing events online, doing virtual events, and she's here today to talk us through her 5 key steps to creating a successful virtual event that will stand out. So welcome, Raimonda. So if we just go, I think we just jump straight in and start talking about that first step of yours, which is starting with the end in sight. So if you can talk us through that, why that's important.
Lovely, will do. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. So starting with an end in sight. Essentially, it's the importance of planning and what are you expecting the event to achieve is super important to start off with, as that not only helps you focus your activities going forwards and actually messaging and everything, but it also sort of just helps you also evaluate post-event. So have the goals been achieved? Has it been a worthwhile, exercise, spending your time doing the event? And be sure to set aside as well at the beginning to sort of really map out your activities. What are the opportunities for communicating to your audience, and so on.
So it's making sure you've covered all bases, and it's having that understanding of what success looks like as well, and where you're heading.
Yeah, exactly. So sort of how do you know if your event was successful and if you should do it again? It's really having that plan and some goals at the beginning, and sort of that's what will guide you, and then you can look back at the end and say, right, well, has this done what I wanted it to do, and do I need to tweak it next time, or do I not bother at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So and I think it does make absolute sense. It makes logical sense to do it, but I think human nature is, I want to do something, I'm going to jump in and do it, and you don't do that step. So yes, I think that's a very, very important step. And then you said once you know what you're aiming for and what your goals are, then it's just the next step is to decide on a hook. If you can talk us through what that means.
Yeah, so essentially what is your event's hook? So what will hook your audience into either clicking on a link or an image or a title to find out more, or hopefully to book as well, that's the end of the game. It's sort of, so what's your why are you holding the event? What will be the value to your audience? Why is it different from the competitors? What will the audience gain? If you're going to have any kind of giveaways or resources to share at the end, what will you give to your audience really at the end? What will they gain by attending?
And so as part of what you do with your clients, do you
help them identify it? Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so it's kind of working out what their audience, what the sort of the buyer's journey is that they want to get their audience at, what will the event achieve for the business and also for the audience, what kind of the problems and the struggles are that the event will satisfy.
Oh, fantastic. And again, all very logical things that you do when you talk through them.
Yes.
But again, quite often you'll go, I'm going to do an event, and again this step might get missed out, so it's an important one to sit down and work through before.
Yeah, no, I find quite an easy way to do it is like doing a mind map, essentially, of like issues or problems or whatever that your customers might be going through. So it's sort of figuring that out and then sort of really nailing it and narrowing it down to what you can achieve with an event. You might end up with multiple event series or something, at the end of that, but it's a really good starting point, and it's an important one.
Yeah, mind maps are great for that. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've got here for the third step is know your event. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so another, I guess, fairly self-explanatory point possibly, but essentially it's really defining very clearly your event date, time, location, and also the audience and the value that the event brings. And then essentially just shouting and boasting about this event at every given opportunity. When you're networking, if you're looking for collaborations with
Collaborations.
Collaborations. Yeah, collaboration with companies, other businesses, stronger in numbers, as they say. So just really what will be the value from the different, say, sponsors or partners that will come and give your event the value, but what will be the value to your audience. So actually knowing the collaborations businesses, or the businesses that you collaborate with, information about their offers or what their value to your audience is, it gives you an opportunity to shout about that aspect as well. So it's not just about the whatever the topic of the event is, it's about the different aspects and the different needs of the audience that it will meet.
Yeah, so it's wider than just the event topic. Yeah. And how does that differ between sort of traditional sort of offline events and virtual events in terms of knowing your event? Because imagine when it's offline, it's about knowing the venue and things like that. But when it's a virtual event, how will that differ?
It doesn't really differ, because it's still an event at the end of the day. It's still got a date, it's still got a venue, be it Zoom, be it somewhere else, a webinar platform or whatever. You still got to be very clear and also the value of the event. That shouldn't really change if it's online or offline. So yes, it's kind of very similar, to be fair. It's more the case of, I guess, being comfortable in the on the virtual sense. So be comfortable with the platform that you're going to use to put your event out, and sort of having that confidence, I guess, in delivering it. But yes, I guess that's the point I was trying to make.
No,
I'm just blabbing now.
When you're talking about, you sort of mentioned about value of the event, you're talking about the overall value that it's giving to the audience and why they should be there. But that's just made me think about sort of pricing of the event, and how would you compare sort of the pricing of a virtual event versus an offline event?
Well, obviously there's certain benefits, pros and cons, virtually or physically. The pricing of it, you make the price up in terms of if you're paying for the speakers, or if you've got any resources that you will produce, like marketing materials or any kind of giveaways or goodies, that will all determine the price, the ticket of your event. The big advantage of a virtual event, of course, you don't have to pay for the venue or the catering or anything, but there's still, to add value and add, depending on the size of the event, really, if you want to deliver more stuff, more goodies, more resources, more downloadable items, or maybe a course, or upsell something, a program, like coaching program or something, there's potential to price the event appropriately, I suppose.
But you say it's down to the event itself, not the fact whether it's offline or online.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference is the venue. Virtual venue means that you don't have all the big outlay of the venue and the catering and potentially the transportation or whatever, but it's the actual essence of event and the value that it brings. It can still have the same amount of money spent on it, really.
In terms of all the things that you can actually give the people attending. Okay, so moving on to locate your audience is your fourth step. If you can tell us more about that.
Indeed. So it's sort of really looking at your different channels that you communicate to your audience with, and where they are. So whether it being social media, whether it being I don't know, where else could you communicate with them directly, really? It's kind of just finding
radio, PR.
They're not very you can't gauge it as well as social media, I suppose.
But, you can't track it, but
exactly. So it's kind of where your audience is. I suppose if they're listening to the radio, then they can do that. You can do that. You can communicate through that. But sort of not don't underestimate the importance of an email list and having traceability through that. Also your website. You should definitely add information about your event on your website, be it a drop down link or a simple link to the Eventbrite page, where there's more details about your particular event.
And what about Eventbrite for finding audiences?
Eventbrite is brilliant. I love it. It's so good, so intuitive. I would definitely advise anyone setting up. I mean, as well as having an event, say if you're using a Facebook as a platform, that's also really good. Their event listings on Facebook, this is great because it gives you a reminder. You know, without you necessarily doing anything, your audience will get a reminder to join if they can go or can't go, and then it will record the event, so you can play it back and so on. So it's a great resource, and the Eventbrite is brilliant as well because as long as you put your keywords and various sort of search phrases in the title and description, it's got such great search platform. You know, you can. It's very good for the audience, and it gives the audience and any of your followers on Eventbrite sort of invitations. Any time that you add a new event, it'll give an invitation. It will send out an invitation to anyone that is following you as a business. So that's another thing to do without you doing anything.
So it's all automated. And when it comes to keywords and making sure, I know it probably sounds obvious, but how would you recommend people understanding or determining which keywords to make sure they've got in their titles and in the event description?
So it's really so again, it's going back to the event hook, really. What are the problems of your audience that you will solve with this event? So what are your audience typing into Google is very likely what they'll be typing into Eventbrite, but they might not even. Also, the other benefit with Eventbrite, which I can't praise enough, is that if that's the phrase that they're typing into Google, Eventbrite will throw your event out as a result, because their Google ratings are really, really very good. So if you've got, you know, an appropriate keyword or phrase within the title of an event or the description, it will show up on Google as well as Eventbrite page. So
this is where events should really, you know, having your events tie into your wider strategy. So, you know, understanding who your audience is, understanding what keywords they're typing in as part of your SEO strategy. Also, that dovetails very much with, you know, making sure people get to see your events as well when you promote them. Okay, and the last one.
There was one point actually I didn't mention.
Yes, that's absolutely.
Sorry, under locate your audience. The sort of obviously social media, email list, and the website is not really any paid avenue, but there's, if you want to take it up a notch with your event and you're really, say, you know, needing a little boost to your numbers, don't underestimate also paid advertising. You know, if you're collaborating with other companies, be it partners or sponsors or exhibitors, do an exchange of adverts on either website or on their social media channels. The paid advertising in terms of like Facebook adverts and Google ads as well. You know, if you've got a little money for promotion, it's well worth it.
And again, it's understanding your goals and what you're trying to achieve, and if you are ambitious, it's actually, again, where do you fund that, where do you find the money to be able to do that?
Ticket prices, delegates hopefully would pay a little bit towards it, and then I know webinars and online events are just prone for being free, but I guess
and sponsorship as well, that would be another. And again, sponsors, are people, how easy is it to get sponsors for online events? Because I know traditionally you think about you're sponsoring offline events.
So I guess it's finding the right sponsors, because there's plenty of people out there, plenty of businesses out there who will have, you know, online audiences or online businesses that they're going to want to push and talk about. It's really knowing the value again, going back to the value of the event, value of to the audience, but also is kind of deliver what will be the value to the sponsors. So, you know, if your target is to attract 20 or 30 business owners in Reading, you really got to find a sponsor or a collaboration with a similar target audience company, and then sort of collaborate that way. But in terms of what I find with the sponsors and how is best to approach it is essentially showing the value that the event will bring to them. So, you know, whether you'll be sharing email addresses, contact details, whether you'll be of the delegates, that is,
yes.
whether you'll not each other's
around GDPR there, but
well, yes, it'd be
of the fully opted in delegates
fully
who know that
delegates, indeed, yes. Yes. So it's kind of knowing the value of your event to the sponsors. So why would anyone be interested in sponsoring? Is kind of figuring that out as well. What will your event deliver? That
because natural human nature. What's in it for me? If I want to, if I'm going to sort of sponsor something, what's in it for me? Brilliant.
I guess that's why collaborations are so popular, because then you have an invested interest from both parties or more than two parties, and then each will have their own goodie, upsell, something, you know, to do at the end of the event as well. So it's adding that value. And
so there's two lots of bits of value at the end, and also wider audience, wider reach as well,
exactly,
from the point of the people from actually collaborating. Okay, so we have
last point.
The final one is pull your superfans in.
Indeed, yeah. So again, it's kind of these are all very obvious, as you say, but it's kind of so this first one is call to action. How often do we forget a call to action?
Yes.
You know, when you're doing a Facebook post or an email, it really, everything has to have a call to action. So whether it be an email signature, banner, or an email newsletter, or whatever else, add a call to action. And it's got to be super, super clear what you want the delegate to do, or potential delegate. You know, if you want them to book on the event, it really has to be book here, book now, book today, you know, register here, whatever. But it's got to be super, super clear call to action.
Yes, absolutely. No, you need, because you need to be clear, you need to have one as well. Okay. No, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Point 2, just under this, is the simplicity of a booking process. I come across so many sort of events who require quite a lengthy amount of information before you're able to book onto them. So, you know, it's not just an email address and a telephone number or your name. There is like your company details, your position, your this, your that. It's quite a lengthy process, and you know, some of them go over a couple of pages and so on. Depends on the size of the event, I suppose, again, but it's kind of making it really simple. So if you're providing a book now link, it really needs to go to the booking page. Again, quite a simple thing, but sometimes it goes via an information page, and then the information page takes you to the booking page if you want to. So I'm finding the easier that process is, the less likely people are to drop off.
Okay, let's go again. Back to human nature. You need to make it easy. Otherwise, they see book now, they want to get to the booking bit, and then they don't want to put in their whole life history to be able to get the ticket. So, give them the ticket if they want it. So make it easy. No, so thank you very much. You've got, these are 5 out of 12 tips.
Indeed,
12.
yeah. So I've got 12 tips on my website as a downloadable freebie e-guide to how to get engagement and bookings for your events. So yes, please.
Fantastic, brilliant. Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got that. That's in the link with this, alongside this live. So,
so yes.
Thank you. So yes,
I hope it helps
people download.
people I'd love to get any feedback if anyone, you know, finds it's been revelation or something, but you know, most of it is self-explanatory, but I hope it helps.
I think it's sometimes a lot of the stuff to do with, you know, with a lot of stuff in business is it's not rocket science, but sometimes it's just a case of knowing about it and knowing what the process is. And so this has been extremely useful today, just for you talking through those 5 steps, because again, they're all quite often things when you get sort of you have the idea and you're going, okay, I'm going to do this event. Quite often you may well miss out some of those steps, so it's always really valuable to have that reminder as well. And especially when, again, we're in a world where we're doing more and more virtual events, so again, understanding what applies, and from what you're saying, quite a lot of what applies to normal events does apply to virtual events too. So
yes, it definitely
it's just
does.
it's having that good process.
Yeah, I think with virtual events, the only kind of difference, I suppose, is that it's all so fast paced. You know, you've got to turn it around really quickly. So I guess that's why you sometimes outsource and find help.
So you're saying, is that what you're finding? The virtual events are a lot. That's the key difference. It's much faster turnaround.
It is, yeah. People just want an event like next week, but you kind of sort of have to really step them back from it and sort of say, well, actually, you're really not going to utilize all the opportunities that you could be, hence the audience number might be a bit less. So if you give yourself a bit more time, 3 to 4 weeks really, to really sort of get your message, your hook, really sort of have everything lined out, and then start promoting it.
Yes, yeah. So it's not trying to rush and do it in less than a week. It's you need that time, because people need time you need the time to get the message out there and get it going. Anyway, well, thank you. I think we'll wrap up now.
Brilliant.
So thank you very much for your time, Raimonda.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and pleasure having you on here, and I look forward to hearing about the other 7 at some point.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That. Bye.
Bye bye everybody. Thanks to anyone who is watching. Okay. Right, I am not entirely without ending the meeting. Okay, this is not that seamless. I'm going to have to end the meeting to stop this.
Yep.
Unless I can stop on the top.